Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Messy. It's Jamie. I am coming to you 1 week after I put out my book into the world. First and foremost, I want to say hello to all of the messy listeners that came to my book signings. I was so moved, overwhelmed, touched by all of you. You know, I sit in this little desk in a corner of my bedroom and record this podcast, and you don't sometimes know, like, who it's touching, who it's reaching, who it's receiving it. And to see so many of you, like, face to face, I hugged each and every one of you. We shared tears. We shared stories. I am tearing up now thinking about it. It's just so meaningful. And I just want to thank you because it has stuck with me in such a way where I just don't feel so alone too. Like, I know that what we do on this podcast and the way we speak and the things that we talk about, you say do that for you, but my God, like, meeting so many of you and hearing your stories and the way that you shared with me, I feel so supported and so less alone and so, I don't know, just more confident in, like, this movement and this sort of place that I'm in to just feel comfortable in sharing my truth. Because, I mean, that's really what my book is about, is finding your voice and finding safety and just living in your truth and accepting all the parts of you, whether that's a disease, whether that's a personality trait, like whether that's anything, any emotion, any feeling, any physical, anything, like just accepting it all and like just trusting it all, allowing it all, finding space for it all, and then being able to move forward with it. I don't know, this book tour has been really life-changing for me in that way. And so I'm just so grateful again to those of you who came out. Some of you drove from far away, especially at the Austin stop. Like, some of you came from Houston and San Antonio and Dallas. And I don't know. I'm again, so moved. And also, I've never opened my DMs, because my public ones, because I don't know. I guess I always assume there's going to be like people asking me to show them my feet or some like weird shit. But I did it after this book, and I'm reading every single one, guys, and I'm trying to respond to all of them. But like, you know, writing this book, in the process of writing it, I think was for me, to be quite honest. It was like, I never really thought about the reader. It was more of just like what I need to confront about myself and my life, and like what I finally need to just let go of and accept and love, forgive, move on from. And then once I finished, and the idea of it like being in other people's hands, like my only wish was it just to reach people where they needed it, like whatever wound or whatever space they needed to be filled with someone else's voice and someone else's story so they can recognize themselves in it. I'm floored with the way people have told me they've felt. So thank you. It's given me great purpose. I feel proud of myself, which is not something I normally feel. Hard for me to feel. I feel just really loved. And I just want to send all of that love right back. Enough about me. Now I'm going to read some of your emails, because we haven't done one of these in a while and we want to hear from you. So here's our first one. This one is from Monica. She says, "Love you both. You're an absolute inspiration. Your honest storytelling through laughter and tears is captivating to listen to. Excited to read both of your memoirs. Love from Ireland." Wow, all the way to Ireland. Well, back at you, Monica. We love you. Thank you. All right, this one's from Marie. Ah, look at this. I just returned from Jamie's book signing event at LIU. It was a wonderful experience and it felt great to meet her. I also wanted to say that the people that attended were also really nice. I got to chat with some amazing MS folks while waiting online. We shared experience about our doctors, meds, and tips on dealing with our gait and balance issues. Having MS has limited my ability to participate in many social events, but this event was actually a test to see if I can, once again, get out and experience life. MS diagnosis in 1990 and breast cancer in 2016 caused me to have PTSD. PTSD causes me anxiety where I feel like I'm safer if I just stay home. Jamie, you gave me the courage to lift myself up and get back to doing fun things again. Thank you for sharing your MS journeys, Jamie and Christina, in your books and your wonderful podcasts. I just finished Christina's book and looking forward to reading Jamie's now. And so it is, Marie. Oh, Marie, you know what? Thank you also for reminding me to thank everybody that are messy listeners, because I know how hard it is to leave a house. I know how hard it is to go somewhere and deal with the physical challenges of it all. So also thank you all for pushing past some of your limits to connect. And I'm so glad to know that you were also connecting with each other. I mean, I think this is also a reminder that despite our circumstances, like, we still have to get over a little hurdle, because who knows what's on the other side. Push yourself just enough to just try and see, like, you who knows who'll be there, who you'll connect with, what you'll feel, what you'll experience could be a lot better than what you imagine. So, and you know what else was moving was seeing so many people come that had their support system with them, which was like either a bunch of friends, or I had someone tell me I had multiple people introduce their husbands as "this is my cutter," which was so sweet and so moving and so lovely. So thank you, Marie, for coming. I'm sure I gave you a hug. I hope I did. All right. This one is from John. I simply wanted to say thank you for creating this podcast. My wife recently discovered it, and I have seen a visible change in her outlook, as if she finally feels seen. She lights up every time she starts to tell me about a certain topic or segment of the show, regardless if the subject matter is humorous or more serious in nature. She has always known that she is not alone in her fight against MS, but hearing from others who have shared experiences has meant the world to her. Well, thanks, John, and thanks for reaching out to us and loving your wife so much and supporting her, because as we know, you guys are in this with us and are a big part of how we move forward and how we, still survive living with something like this. So love and kudos to you, John. Okay. This one is from Jean. You guys rock. I listen to your podcast during my quieter afternoons, and you give me hope and laughter and make me feel like everything will all work out. One of your podcasts touched on pain being a part of life. The highs and the lows will always be with us. It's so true. I wanted to share the words of a very wise psychotherapist, David Richo, PhD, I hope I'm saying it right, Richo, that has helped ground me during some of my darkest days. The 5 things we cannot change. 1, everything changes and ends. 2, things do not always go as planned. 3, life is not always fair. 4, pain is part of life. And 5, people aren't always loving and loyal. Just keep doing what you're doing. Always show up for yourself and others and stay positive. Remember, everything is temporary. This too shall pass. And last but not least, MS sucks, and so does cancer. Word. Yes, I like that. I mean, the 5 things we cannot change. That's also like the serenity prayer, right? That people say is like, God, please give me the strength to accept the things I cannot change. That's really the biggest thing of acceptance, right? Is just acknowledging all of those things. Like, nothing stays the same, and that we can sort of find comfort in that and also, have to accept it in harder times. That nothing ever goes as planned, but sometimes it's better than you imagined. Life is not always fair, but I believe is always right and how it needs to go. I think also in like writing of my book, I was able to really see the universe at play, even through the difficult and painful times. Leading to pain, right, is a part of life. It just is. Find me somebody that has not had any pain in their life. They're high. Otherwise, like all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and no, it's just part of it. It's what makes us grow. It's what makes us reflect. What also makes us feel the good stuff is sometimes the painful, the contrast of it all. And people aren't always loving and loyal. Well, unfortunately, that's true, but a lot of people are, and it allows you to really see it in those that are. So there's always a positive twist to all of these things. Okay, this one's from Jade. First, I love the podcast. I was drawn to listen to it from Christina's book, which is fucking fantastic, but it helps me understand what my child is going through. He was diagnosed at 16 with relapse-remitting MS, and he's 19 now. I'm so fucking mad at the world and God, if there is one, and with COVID, because that's what brought on the symptoms. I'm pissed at myself as a mom for not recognizing symptoms, even though it's not my fault. You guys made me feel like it's okay to not be okay with it, even though my son is going through it. You guys are the best, and I'm obsessed with the podcast. Fuck MS. Love you, ladies. Oh, Jade, you're sweet boy. Fuck. I don't know. There's just something that really hits hard thinking about a child having to deal with this. And even though I was also kind of a child, I was 4 years older when I was diagnosed, like there's just, I don't know, that's the time that you're supposed to just be carefree and not worry about these things. And I'm so sorry that you guys are going through this, but Jade, allow your feelings as his mom, like it's, I think Cutter and I talked about it in the episode where we had him on, my husband, but like, your feelings matter too in this. And listen, there might be certain things that maybe you share with him and then maybe you don't. I would suggest you finding your own outlet to talk about this. I'm sure there's a support group of parents of people that have MS or caregivers, because this is obviously such a huge part of your life and your experience. And you're allowed to be fucking pissed because it sucks. It really, really sucks. And I'm so sorry, but I am wishing him an easy journey with this. Support for Messy comes from Mudwater. Are you one of those people who loves coffee? The taste, the smell, the whole ritual. But the caffeine sends you straight into an anxiety spiral? 'Cause same. I love new coffee shops. I love fun seasonal drinks. But one full cup and suddenly my heart is sprinting and my brain is running in 5 different directions at once. That's why Mudwater's new low-calf coffee has been such a relief. It's made with organic Arabica coffee, L-theanine, functional mushrooms like lion's mane and cordyceps. So it tastes like actual coffee, not like this, weird coffee machine one, but it gives you enough caffeine to feel awake and dialed in without the jitters, crash, or emotional roller coaster. Every single ingredient in Mudwater's products are 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, kosher. There's also 0 sugar and no sweetener added. So are you ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code MESSY. That's right, up to 43% off with code MESSY at mudwtr.com. After your purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. Support for Messy comes from OneSkin. You've heard us talk about OneSkin before, right? And whether you're someone who tries every new skincare product that hits the market or you've been using the same 1 or 2 things for years, at some point, most of us realize our skin just isn't keeping up the way it used to. And that's what OneSkin has changed for me. It didn't just make my existing routine better, it actually works different than anything else I've tried. It has this OS01 peptide. It was specifically engineered to address, the visible signs of aging, fine lines, loss of firmness, dullness, all of that stuff that we don't want to see. So you're getting basically everything you expect from great skincare with the OS1. It's doing something most skincare was just never built to do. My skin looks younger, less dull. I am obsessed with these peer-reviewed, clinical studied results. And they also have 10,000 five-star reviews if you don't want to believe me. So born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS01 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code MESSY at oneskin.co/messy. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MESSY. After your purchase, I'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Okay, let's go to Michelle. Hi, Jamie and Christina. My name is Michelle. I'm a big fan and I listen to your podcast on a regular basis. I have MS and I was diagnosed 9 years ago. It was like a train that hit me literally out of nowhere. I was always so active growing up in sports and I would always be faster than my brothers and I used to run so fast. This disease took that away from me. My ability to run and my walking wasn't great either. I dealt with a lot of shit because of this disease, and I realized the people that are closest to you. Sometimes they show their ugly side, and then when you meet complete strangers, they have such acceptance. By forcing it and pushing myself, I was able to get my walking back on track. Still not the best, but it's better than it was, and I taught myself how to run again. It might not look super normal like everyone else running, but at least I'm able to do it. I have a full-time job, and now it's getting more and more difficult to get up and deal with all this energy needed for every day. So I did start my own little business at home, and I make custom keychains. I would really like to send you each one that I made with the orange awareness ribbon with the word hope. I have one on my keys, and on my hardest days, when I look at it, it reminds me that I have to keep pushing, and there's always hope, that there's going to be a cure, hopefully. I wish you both the best. Thank you for making me feel seen and heard. Well, Michelle, I'm so proud of you for figuring out a new way to move in the way that you love and that your body is fighting with you and trying with you. And what the fuck is normal anyway, right? If you are walking and you are moving, brava, like go, sister. And yes, we'll take a keychain, send it to us so we can also put the link of how to get one. Let's support your small business. Let's support Michelle, guys. Okay? Thank you for writing in. Okay, this one is from Melanie. Hello, Christina and Jamie. Like you, I unfortunately live with the same condition. My mother has it as well. I'm 53 now, and I have dealt with it for years. During the periods when it wasn't relapsing, I tried to pretend it didn't exist. That is, until once more it did. I am an accomplished attorney and have spent my entire life as active as possible. I was always the college dancer, the mountain climber, the scuba diver, and so on. I know it frustrates my husband because we love to travel. During the past year, we have still traveled, but I had to use my motorized scooter most of the time, and on good days, my cane. How do you cope with not being the vibrant person you used to be because of this monster? It's frustrating because people do not understand the disease. I have heard coworkers say that since they saw me walking a few weeks ago, I'm just using it as an excuse. Oh, fuck that. It rips my heart out. I clearly don't want to be this way. How do I explain such a disease and get them to relate? Or should I just forget about the people who want to use it against me? I love you both and for the inspiration you are to the MS community. Okay. Well, all right, Melanie, let's start first. Thank you for saying how you've adjusted your travel with a motorized scooter and a cane. I needed to hear that because I have found myself pulling back from the idea of traveling with my family. I've had this dream of like taking my kids to Italy for their first time or taking them to London and like wanting them to experience these like big, beautiful things. And I've said to Cutter recently, like, but it's just, that's going to be so hard for me. I'm going to slow everybody down. Like, this maybe should be a guy's trip and you take the boys or whatever it is. I find myself doing this thing where I'm like retreating and pulling back because just the idea of not doing it the way I always thought I would just feels like I shouldn't. And you are reminding me that that is not what I should be doing. I'm going to make the adjustments and I'm going to accept it and move on. It is, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think about, well, if I didn't have MS, I would be doing this. Like yesterday, for instance, it's really hot here in Texas already. And as we know, the heat is brutal on us. And it just gets hotter as the day goes on. So both my kids were home from school. I took them to the dentist. We were home by like 4:30. It was 95 degrees outside. We have a little sport court, but you got to go down these stairs to get to it. I never go because it's down these stairs. And my nanny took them. And I hear the three of them laughing and playing basketball and wiffle ball. And she's being the ump. And I cried. I cried that I was not the one down there with my kids. Because I don't want them to think that I'm making a choice to not be with them. I didn't want to sit upstairs and watch Below Deck. I wanted to be down with my children. But I couldn't do it yesterday. And so how do we do it? I don't know. You just accept those harder moments. And then I celebrate the moments that I did do it. Like I was at a baseball tournament all weekend solo with Jack, packing the wagon, walking to the field, taking the breaks when I need, having all my fans set up on my chair, asking the other parents to help me when needed. And I felt really good about myself. And then I came home Sunday night from a long ass weekend and I cooked dinner. So I had my wins and then I have my heartbreaks and you just acknowledge them both. Do you know what I mean? But I hear you in like just the constant like who I used to be and the things I would do if I didn't have this. There's room for that, but don't sit too long in it. You know, the next day is a new day. See what you can do because it will swallow us if we are constantly thinking about what we can't. As far as your coworkers go, I don't even think they need an ounce of your fucking energy because as we know, our energy, I always say it's the gas tank and we allot it to the things that we need that are priorities each and every day. And that bullshit needs none of your energy. People's commentary on you and your disease and how it manifests and how you move and if you look fine or if you don't look fine is nobody's fucking business. Unless they're asking how they can help you, I would encourage you to figure out, practice it, work with chat, whatever it is, or Claude or whatever you're using, of like a clear, solid, mic drop sentence that you can give them, that you can use whenever you need in your life when something like that comes up. Because again, it's like, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do, what I'm struggling, what I'm coming up against? I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that, but I promise you that says everything about them, nothing about you. And there is a whole world out there that does not view you that way, that would celebrate and be like, oh my God, like, you know, that would acknowledge every minute of your day of what you're going through and what you are dealing with. And you know, and you don't need anybody to remind you either way. So again, I'm sorry that you went through that, Melanie, but stand up for yourself. That's bullshit. Sorry I cursed so much. Support comes from Rhythm Health. I just had my annual physical, and when it came to blood work, it was the same old drill. The drive to the lab, the waiting room, the needle, all of it for one report that goes into my file. And I realized I need a more consistent picture of my health. And that's why I'm excited about our partner, Rhythm. Rhythm is the world's easiest blood test to help you learn what's happening inside your body. You take it in 2 minutes at home. No needles, just a sleek and painless collection device you peel and stick on your arm. Draw a small sample, mail it to their lab, and you get results back in around 3 days. With old school testing, you'd maybe drive to the lab once a year, get that single snapshot. But with Rhythm, you can test every month. You can track your movement in over 30 biomarkers spanning cholesterol, inflammation, hormones, and metabolic health. And by testing your blood monthly, you're keeping an eye on how changes that you're making affect your health. And when you test again, you could be looking for your hormone levels, testosterone, progesterone, cholesterol, iron, all the things that you want to see. Rhythm, by the way, is also only $79 a month, a fraction of traditional lab testing. It ships right to your door, and you can cancel anytime. Right now, Rhythm is offering our listeners 15% off your first month and free shipping at rhythm.health/messy. That's Rhythm with one H, rythm.health/messy for 15% off your first month and free shipping. Stop guessing, start testing. Rhythm.health/messy. Support comes from NoCD. Okay, real talk. Have you ever had a thought pop into your head that feels random and upsetting, and then your brain just will not let it go? You just try to move on, you distract yourself, you talk yourself out of it, maybe even Google it, and somehow it just keeps coming back. A lot of people don't realize that can actually be OCD. And OCD is so much more than being neat or organized. It can look like intrusive thoughts. It can look like constant doubt, can look like feeling stuck in a loop, just trying to get relief. It can attach itself to the things you care most about, your relationships, your identity, your values. But it doesn't have to be that way, because OCD is actually highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy. OCD needs ERP, or exposure and response prevention, which is the most effective treatment for OCD, and that's where NoCD comes in. NoCD is the world's leading provider of OCD treatment, and their licensed therapists specialize in ERP therapy. They'll help you learn how to respond differently to intrusive thoughts, so those thoughts hold less power over you, and they provide support between sessions, so you'll never have to face OCD alone. NoCD offers live virtual therapy, and they're covered by insurance for over 138 million Americans. If this sounds familiar, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. That's nocd.com. This is for Marina. Hi, I have been diagnosed for almost 5 years, and it never gets easier. I found your podcast today, and I'm addicted. Thank you for being so honest about what you both are going through. It's nice to know someone else who is going through what I am while trying to raise kids. I went from being a dance instructor and bartender to being disabled in a blink of an eye. I listened to Christina talking about étendu and dégagé in the podcast, and that's what brought me to the ER. I couldn't do a dégagé. What gets me through the day is knowing that everything happens for a reason, only God knows why. I wake up knowing it can always be worse than it is. Thank you for being honest on your podcast. I don't know anyone with MS, so I have no one to relate to. I'm a listener for life now. Well, I love your outlook, Marina. Thank you for sharing. I try to live that same way. And I want to say, for those also that feel like they don't know anyone with MS and they have no one to relate to, obviously that's a lot of why this podcast exists. But I think what we've also learned through doing this podcast is that, you don't have to have MS to relate to the things that come up from having a disease, because the things that come up, there's millions of events in life that could sort of confront you in the same way, challenge you in that same way. It might not be physical, but anyone can relate to a struggle. Anyone can relate to pain. So just know you're not alone. And I hope you just don't isolate yourself or feel like you can't talk about what you're going through, even with friends in your life, because they don't have MS. I think I talked about it when I had my besties on. When I talk about what I'm going through, they're able to sort of relate it to things that they're going through as well. They still acknowledge, and they always say, Jamie, we don't have half of what you have, which I hate that they say that, but I also appreciate them acknowledging what I'm going through. But the truth is we all can relate to each other in our vulnerability. So please don't ever feel like you can't share what you're going through with the people around you because they don't, quote unquote, have like MS or a disease like it. And thank you for writing in. Okay, this is from Amy. Hello, Christina and Jamie. My name is Amy. I've been referred to an MS neurospecialist due to some awesome symptoms I've had the past 6 weeks. I had undiagnosed fibroids and endometriosis for years, which was remedied by a bikini cut hysterectomy October 15th, 2025. I was let go from my position for a company I loved as an accountant my first day back in office post-surgery. Fuck yeah. About 2-ish months ago, I noticed the nighttime hip and leg pain that I had pre-surgery was back, as the numb limbs. Also, dead hand trying to grasp my water from the nightstand, electrifying pains like a cattle prod through my legs, pins and needles vibrating on my right side, scalp to feet, feels like my right leg is taking a piss into my foot. I'll forget what I'm having a conversation about with someone mid-sentence, suddenly can't spell. I could draw my entire nervous system right now because I can feel it in my body. Falling down trying to pull weeds from my garden, raw hot dog fingers, feel like a marionette trying to walk. I'm in tears because I can't function properly. I could pick up and run 6 miles without training a few years ago. I love you both and thank you. Amy, I hope that you were able to get some relief writing all of that down. I think that's actually like super healthy to just like say all of the shit that you're dealing with. Like sometimes I'll tell Cutter, like, I need you, don't worry about, I don't need a response. I need to say everything that I'm feeling right now, because when you deal with a chronic illness, like you're dealing with life and then you're dealing with constant sensations and things in your body that you know aren't right, that you know aren't, that are massively uncomfortable, painful, all of those things. So good for you. I actually would encourage anyone, if you are struggling physically, take out a journal, whatever it is, and wreak havoc on that page. Like, write it all out. I'm fucking pissed. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. It gets it out a little bit of your body. I know it might not physically change anything, but maybe it could. Maybe it could soften it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when I express myself really authentically in an aggressive way and in a safe environment, it's really, really helpful, especially for your nervous system. We're all talking about how to like regulate our nervous system, but when we're on constant red alert with all of these things that we're feeling, it's hard to find moments to do that. So even if it's before bed, in the morning, in the middle of the day, in your car before you get out, you know, excuse yourself from your family for a bathroom break and just, again, just unleash. Scream in a pillow, write this all down. I think it was really, really healthy. And thank you for reminding me of this practice, Amy. And I hope that it helps some of you as well. Okay. This message is from Gareth. I have just started listening to your podcast today, episode 1. I know I'm a couple of years behind, but I wanted to start from the beginning. I'm a husband, father, an Anglican, Episcopalian priest. I've been married to my wife, Abby, for 23 years, and she has been diagnosed with MS for 12. We're always honest and open with each other, even before we were a couple, and we've made sure MS has made no difference. We live in a rural community, so my wife is a mini celebrity as the vicar's wife? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I randomly saw a news story about the podcast. Google obviously has MS on my algorithms, and I really liked both your work as actors and honesty as women with MS. Huge respect to you both for doing it, and a huge thanks. The first episode has already been a massive help, and I look forward to journeying with you and maybe even catching up with the releases. I chose to listen to hear another experience. I fully agree with you. I fully agree with what you've said, that no experience is the same, as there are so many factors with MS and life. Your honesty and vulnerability is amazing. Thank you. I understand a bit about what it costs to be open when your life is public and shared by people you don't know. As I said, I've just heard the first podcast while walking the countryside, and I am now on a journey with you. I wonder if me starting now and being behind is some sort of analogy for MS. Same journey, but different. One thing I wanted to share for you, family, friends, listeners, whoever, a revelation we came to as a couple quite early on really about was identity. My wife is not an MS sufferer, but a woman, wife, mother, daughter, etc. with MS. That has helped her and me and our children a lot over the years. I look forward to getting to know you both more throughout the podcast. Thanks again for doing it. Well, Gareth, do I say Father Gareth? Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful email. I apologize for the amount that I swear now that I know you're listening. But yes, amen, amen, yes. She's not an MS sufferer. She is all of those things. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is a daughter. She is a sister, friend, all those things who has MS. It's so important for us to not feel identified by this. I have to be honest, sometimes I come up against it because I talk so much about it. It's kind of like part of my career. And it can be a lot. I have to do check-ins with myself of what I'm putting out there and what I'm talking about is more universal than just about someone living with MS, because I can't feel like my only talking about living with MS is all I do or all I am. So I actually really needed to hear that as well. Thank you. And I hope and I know that someone or someone's listening today needed to hear that too. So thank you. And honestly, keep writing in and share all of your revelations with us, please. Thank you so much. Support comes from Veracity. Do you get stressed? If you don't, I'd honestly be concerned. If you've spent even 5 minutes on social media lately, you've heard more bad news than your brain ever asked for, which is one of the many reasons why our stress levels are on constant alert. And that's where cortisol calming from Veracity comes in. If your goal is stress relief, you need to try cortisol calming. With cortisol calming, you build resistance and resilience to that fight or flight stress, from the spikes in the stress hormone, cortisol. Cortisol calming alleviates the effects of cortisol spikes. I'm talking about anxiety, brain fog, cravings, visceral fat, and slowed metabolism. With Veracity, the results are real and clinically proven. Within 30 minutes, you'll start to feel a reduction in stress and feel more relaxed. And within 3 weeks, you might get your sleep back in sync and start to feel less fatigue. That is a big deal. It is packed with natural stress fighters like ashwagandha, rhodiola, and Eleuthero to help your body stay resilient. So with a product like Veracity, a common question is, what are the side effects? Well, since cortisol calming is made from 100% natural ingredients, clinical trials showed no negative side effects from the ingredients in cortisol calming. So calm your stress the natural way. Head to veracityhealth.co and use code MESSY for up to 65% off your order. Once again, that's VERACITY health.co for up to 65% off. And make sure you use my promo code MESSY so they'll know I sent you. Okay, this is from Sorry. Or Sari. Sorry. If you're from Long Island, it's Sari. Anywhere else, probably sorry. Hi, ladies. I hope both of you are well. Christina. Oh, she's from Long Island. Sari, probably. Christina, I hope you're feeling better. You truly are a very strong chick. Both of you are very inspiring, autoimmune or not. Jamie, fellow Long Islander here, grew up in the great town of Roslyn, the sister town to Jericho in the greater county of Nassau in the heart of the Jewish sleepaway camp belt. Yes, sister. I'm big fans of both your work, but bigger fans of what you're doing now. I was reluctant to listen to this podcast because I didn't want to face the music of what MS really is and its devastating impact. But I put on my big girl pants about 2 weeks before my first treatment, April 27th. I started listening, starting from episode 1 of the pod, and now I'm hooked. You both don't know it, but you're my besties. I probably don't have any extraordinary story, but I figured I'd reach out to tell mine. If anything distinguishes me, I work in the sports industry and business development. I worked at Madison Square Garden for many years, and now I work for the New York Islanders. I'm constantly on my feet, engaging with clients at a giant-size arena, which is not very conducive to MS. But with the help of some pot edibles and a ton of Advil, I am able to persevere through 100 events per year with the help of THC gummies. They really work, in addition to my 9-to-5 desk job. Last summer, on Mother's Day, my mom and I went for a walk around our neighborhood. After just 2 blocks, I suddenly felt like I was walking through mud. I could barely move forward. I brushed it off at the time. I had ACL surgery in 2019, never fully completed physical therapy because of the pandemic, and had been pushing myself hard with daily exercise. I assumed it was just my knee. I saw an orthopedic surgeon and had an MRI. My graft was stable. My knee looked fine. I was told to carry on as usual, but the symptoms didn't go away. The pain in my lower back and legs persisted for months, and my gait became noticeably abnormal. My legs ached. Something wasn't right. At the start of the new year, I began to wonder if it could be inflammatory arthritis. I saw a rheumatologist and went through extensive testing, MRIs, ultrasounds, lab work, but everything came back without signs of inflammation. Around the same time, my hands and feet started to feel numb. Neuropathy. A clue. At a follow-up visit, the rheumatologist asked me to walk on my heels and then my toes. After watching me, he suggested, just to be safe, that I see a neurologist. The neurologist ran a series of tests. She noticed subtle abnormalities in my coordination and confirmed my gait was off. She recommended MRIs of my brain and spine. 2 weeks later, I had the scans, which revealed lesions on my brain and spine. A week later, after additional imaging with contrast, the diagnosis was confirmed. I was referred to an MS specialist, and from there, everything moved quickly. I have multiple sclerosis. I accept this diagnosis, but I refuse to be defined by it. I understand this is something I will live with for the rest of my life. I accept the uncertainty, the possibility of progression, and the reality that rest is not optional, stress is a trigger, and heat is my enemy. There may come a day when I'm not as active as I am now, but today is not that today. Today, I choose to stay vigilant, defiant, and relentlessly positive. My mindset will keep me moving forward. I'm choosing strength. I'm choosing resilience. I'm choosing to believe that I can face whatever challenges MS brings. And I'm also choosing to make something meaningful out of all of this. Or proverbially, chicken salad out of chicken shit, or lemonade out of a lemon, if you will. This year, I started a team for Walk MS 2026 at Jones Beach on Long Island and raised $6,500. That alone has been incredibly rewarding. Not everyone has access to the resources or support needed to manage the financial burden that comes with this disease, and that matters to me. I also know how fortunate I am. I am surrounded by an incredible support system, my family, my friends, and my colleagues. Their love and support mean everything to me, and my gratitude is endless. We're all moving forward together, along with you, amazing gals. Sorry. Would you like to host this podcast with us? You should start your own. Oh my God. I'm so proud of you. I'm so moved. I'm so inspired. I see you. I feel you. God, I don't want anyone to feel like that's how you have to be. I think there's, Christina and I have talked endlessly about how you also can't be perpetually positive. You have to leave the room for all of the feelings. But I'm just really in awe at your initial reaction to this. if you read my book, that was not mine. It took me a long time to be able to think like you and believe like you and push through like you. So rock on, sister. You're amazing. Thank you so much for this really thoughtful and beautiful email. I'm wishing you an easy journey with this. Keep using your voice. I hope we, cross paths, keep raising money. And yes, also, like, that's such an important thing to acknowledge, that not everyone has access to the resources and the support. And, I do. I have access to anything that I want. And I promise you, anyone that's listening, if I ever find anything that is exponentially helpful, I will share it, because I am fortunate that I get to try a lot of things, and I've lived with this for a long time, and the disease has progressed in a way that I could really acknowledge if something is beneficial or not. And the one thing I just can share is simple movement, and that's free. Stretching, being kind to your body, moving it in whatever way. Don't give up on your body. I have a lot of faith in modern medicine, in the future, and it could be all bullshit, but I'd rather live my life that way. I'd rather live my life thinking that there's something ahead, because it keeps me, I don't know, hopeful. And living with something like this, sometimes it's hard to feel that way. So again, thank you, Sari, for this beautiful email. You are a bright, shining light of hope. And we need voices like you. Okay, we're going to wrap that up for today. Thank you again so much to everybody that's written in, to our new listeners. Hi, how are you? Don't forget to just email us, talk to us. We love to engage with you. We love to hear your stories. You can email messypodcast@wishboneproduction.com. Again, messypodcast@wishboneproduction.com. Or go to messythepodcast.com and you can submit a question through there. I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, and I'm going to read you a card. Here we go. Everything we shut our eyes to, everything we run away from, everything we deny, denigrate, or despise serves to defeat us in the end. What seems nasty, painful, evil can become a source of beauty, joy, and strength if faced with an open mind. So maybe look at your challenges today and think, instead, why is this happening to me? But what is this here to teach me? A shift in perspective can give a lot of beauty in your life. Wishing you guys all the best, and so it is.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.